Very good afternoon to all the students. Welcome back. In the last session, we have gone through the introduction part related to the functions. We have gone through the definition of the function, and we have already seen what are the how we are going to define a function with the header part and the body of the function. We have seen one example also. So in this session we are going to discuss about some more important topics like the function declaration. Very important point, please concentrate. Before going to the function declaration, let me write a small example of a small program. Please give me some time. Right. So before going this function declaration, let us explain the concept of function calling. Right. All these things we will discuss in the parallel fashion. Right. So we have previously discussed the concept of function definition. Right. We know that the function definition consists of two parts, that is the header and the body. With this part clear in our mind, let us move to this example. We have this hash include stdio.h. This is a preprocessor directive, and we can see here that this is one function, right? And this is another function. So I have defined my problem of addition of two integer values. I have divided it into two parts or two functions, two procedures, anything you can call, right? But in C programming language, we are very much familiar with the term called functions. So let us stick to that particular term only. So the main function is one function and the sum function is another function. You can see the second function. There is nothing to explain about the main function. As I told that you can have any number of functions for a particular problem in a C programming language, but one important point is at least one function should be named as the main function. That we know very well, right? So let us put our discussion of the main function aside. We are concentrated more on this particular function, right? So this function, what is the name of the function? It is nothing but sum. It is accepting how many parameters? Two parameters, right? Int a comma int b. Both the parameters are of type integer. And there is only one statement in the body of the sum function, which is it is just printing the sum value of this a and b. Right. We know that this entire thing, the header and the body, is called as the function definition. both this header and body is called as the function definition. Once we have this idea, let us go at this particular point, right? This particular function definition of sum will not be active all the time. Remember, very important point. This sum function or whatever function it may be, whether it may be sum, main, or subtraction, multiplication, whatever it may be, the function definition, even though you have given the function definition, it will not be active all the time. So what is that you have to do to make it active? In C programming language, we call it as invoking. So in order to execute this function, I have the sum and I have the sum function, but it is not active. In order to make it active, we can call it as invoking a function. In order to invoke this sum function, you have to call that function. We have a lot of terminology that is coming across these particular topics, right? So one is the function definition, function declaration, function calling, invoking, function call, all these things, right? So be careful in learning these new topics or new terminologies. Clear? So I have this function body, I have this function definition, but it is inactive all the time. So how I am going to make it active, or how I am going to invoke that function, means by making use of the function call. So a function is invoked or a function is activated whenever you call that function. This is very important point. Until unless you call that function, this function will not execute. In order to invoke it, in order to execute it, you have to invoke it. In order to invoke it, you have to call that function. Calling that function is a very simple task. So if somebody asks you to call somebody, you will call it with the name, right? In the similar fashion, whenever you want to call a function, you just call it with the name of the function along with the parameter list. So what is the name of the function we have here? This is sum. So how can I invoke this function? By calling this function. How can I call this function? By calling it with name. So I call it with sum. This statement is called as function call statement. Very important concept in C programming. That is, the functions by default they are inactive. In order to make it active, you have to invoke that function. In order to invoke that function, you have to call that function. In order to call that function, you have to call it with the name of the function along with the list of parameters. So this is the link between the invocation of a function and the function call, right? So let us, we are clear about this function definition and function call statement and invoking all these things. As we know that the main function is a very important function in the C programming language. Why? Because the execution of the C program always starts from the main function. We are all very well aware of these topics, right? Whenever you execute this entire program, let me call this entire function or entire program as sum.c. Whenever I run this program sum.c, control F9, what happens is the compiler, first of all, it will go and search where is the main. So it will go and search the main function. Once it finds the main function, then it will start the execution from the main function. From here it will start. And then the second statement is, it is having this statement. This statement is nothing but initialization. Initialization is nothing but declaration plus assigning a first value, where we have discussed that the memory allocation in the C programming language always happens at the declaration part only. So whenever the compiler comes across this statement int x is equal to 10, int x is equal to 10, it will allocate the sufficient memory, that is 4 bytes of memory will be allocated, and it is given a name called x, and it stores the initial value which is called as 10. Similarly, it goes to the next statement. As we know that the sequential execution is followed by the C programming language. So once this statement is completed, the second statement is executed. Therefore, at this point this is also a declaration statement. So the memory will be allocated 4 bytes of memory, that memory location will be named as y, and it is initialized to 20. After this, the third statement will be executed. This third statement, as I told that this is the function call statement. This is the function call statement. At this particular point, right now my control is here, right? Sum of x comma y. This sum is nothing but the name of the function, and x and y are the values that we are going to pass from the sum main function to the sum function. Here you can observe one point, that the main function is going to call this sum function, right? The main function is going to call the sum function. Therefore, the sum is called as a called function, and the main is called as the calling function. Who is calling sum? Main. Therefore, this is called as the calling function. Who called sum? Which is nothing but main. Therefore, sum is called the called function. So, calling function and called function, these are also another two important terminologies we are come across here right now. So, called function here is sum, calling function here is the main, right. So, the calling function main is going to call the called function sum with two values x and y. What are the values of x and y? We know that x is 10 and y is 20. Therefore, these two values, see here, this is very important point. This particular statement we are calling it as the function call statement. We should be very cautious about this function call statement. You should know what happens at this function call statement. So, right now my control is in the main function and at statement 3. Whenever the control comes to this statement, since this is a function call statement, the control will jump from the calling function to the called function definition, this one. Whatever statements we have after this sum, nothing, they won't bother about it, right. So, once the control is at the function call statement, the control will jump from the function call statement to the function definition. So, what is function definition? We know that a function definition is nothing but the header of the function plus the body of the function, right. So, this entire thing is called as the function definition. So, from this function call statement, it will search for the function definition, and the control along with the values 10 and 20 is passed from the calling function to the called function. So, here they are passed. Once the function definition is found by the compiler, this one, right. You can see here that we have two values that is passed from the calling function. So, there should be some containers to hold these values. So, those containers are nothing but the variables. So, you need to declare two different variables for this to hold this 10 and 20. That is the reason why I have given the parameters as int a comma int b. So, what happens here is, when you pass this 10 comma 20, the first value that is passed will be stored inside the first parameter a. Similarly, the second value, that is 20, that is passed from the calling function to the called function, will be stored successively in the second variable, that is b. So, a will be having, so this you can see here that int a, this is also a declaration statement, int b, this is also a declaration statement. Therefore, two more locations will be allocated, one is named with a and another one is named with b. But copying of the parameters will happen in a sequential fashion. Therefore, the first value will be copied to the first parameter. Therefore, 10 is copied to a and the second value is copied to the second parameter. Therefore, 20 is copied to b. So, once I have these values of a and b, it will execute the body of the function. Printf sum is equal to, so this will be printed like this, sum is equal to percentile d, and this is the placeholder for a plus b. What is a plus b? It is 10 plus 20, that is 30. Therefore, this will be outputted. Once this statement is executed, it will execute the end of the body of the function, this one, the closed curly brace. Once the closed curly brace has been encountered by the compiler, the control will again jump back from the function definition to the calling function. What is the calling function here? It is nothing but main. What is the called function? Sum. So, once the sum function has been executed, that means the called function has been executed. How can you say that it is executed? Once it has executed the closed curly brace of the called function, we can say that the function has executed successfully. So, once it encounters this closing curly brace, the control again returns back from this called function to the calling function. So, the control will again return back to the main function. And at this point, you don't have any statements here. Therefore, it will execute this function, this closed curly brace of the main function, that becomes the end of program execution. So, the final output what you will get is sum is equal to 30. This is how the function calling is going to happen. Main important point you should keep it in mind is that by default all the functions in C are inactive. In order to make it active, you have to invoke that function. In order to invoke that function, you have to call that function. In order to call that function, you have to call it with the name of the function. So, you have two different terminologies, that is the calling function and the called function. Called function is the function which is called by another function. Calling function is the function which calls another function. And remember, very important point. Here you can observe that there are two integer values that are being passed here, right? Here you can see that there are two integer values that are passed, that is x and y. You should be very careful with the order of parameters. You should be very careful with the number of parameters. And you should be very careful with the type of parameters, very, very important. I will tell you what these type of parameters and order and number of parameters is. The number of parameters is very simple. It tells the how many parameters are being passed and how many have been received. That is the number of parameters. In this current example, we have passed two parameters, right? Therefore, the number of parameters that we have passed is 2. And coming to the type of parameters, it's very much clear that it specifies the type of parameters you are going to use for these parameters. So, the type of parameter for x is integer and the type of parameter for y is integer. So, both int comma int are passed from this calling function. And the order of parameters is also important, very important. Order of parameters means, in this case, in this example, we have taken int comma int. These are the type of parameters and the order is int comma int. In some cases, let me take an example, int x comma float f. These are the two parameters I have passed, right? So here you can see that the first parameter is x and the second parameter is float f. So while you pass these parameters, you are passing it in the order int and float. So while you are receiving it, the same order should be used. That means at this particular function definition, you have to declare one integer variable int a, and the second one should be float f1 like this, right? So the parameters what you have passed from the calling function should match with the order of parameters in the called function. So if you pass int float, the called function should also have int comma float. If you pass int float, let me take another example, int float. So this is the order, right? Int, after int you have to pass float, after float you have to pass float. The same order should be used in the called function also. You should declare variables in the same order as int float and float. So parameter functions is not that much easy topic, is not a simple task, right? So there are a lot of terminologies you have come across, and there are still more terminology that you will come across in these functions topics. So be careful. And we have seen that about these parameters, that the number of parameters should match, the order of parameters should match, and the type of parameter should match, right? For example, let me take like this. Here I have given the sum as int comma int. But in the function definition here, what I have done is I have given the integer variable followed by float. But the values that I have passed is int comma int, but the values that I am accepting is int comma float. Therefore, this particular function will not execute. Why? Because the order of parameters is not matching. The number of parameters is matching. Here I am passing two parameters and here I am accepting two parameters. Okay, that's good. But the order of parameters, where in the calling function I am passing int comma int, whereas in the called function I am accepting int comma float. Therefore, this function is not equal to this function. This is not equal. So at this function call, this function will not be executed. It will not be invoked. Why? Because there is a mismatch of parameters. So that is one important point you should observe here. So once we are done with this order of parameters, let me discuss one more important point, that is the function declaration. Very important point. Let me erase some of the points here. Let me write down the code again. we are in the topic of function declaration. I have written the code like this: hash include stdio.h main int x is equal to 10, int y is equal to 20, sum of x comma y, sum int a comma int b, printf sum is equal to percentile d plus. So this is the code what we have discussed in the previous example. Let me explain what is this function declaration, why it is important. Let us see why it is important. Right? We have this type of code. Let us save it as sum.c, and when I run this program with control plus F9, I know that the compiler will go and search for the main function. From here it will start this function, right? Before this, all these pre-processed directives will be done before compilation itself, right? Now at this point this statement will be executed. Okay, x 10, the second statement y 20. Okay, the third statement. Now this is the problem we have here. At this third statement, we know this function, this is called as a function call statement, right? I told that whenever the control is at the function call statement, the control will jump from the function call statement to the function definition. But what happens here is, the problem with this particular type of thing is, here whenever the compiler comes across this statement, though it is a function call statement, it can understand that this is sum and x comma y. That means it is a function with two parameters, one is x and another one is y. But the compiler does not have any idea of this sum. Why? Because the definition of this function sum is given after the function call, right? So this function definition, you can observe here that this is after the function call. So the function, the compiler at this particular point, even though it has encountered the function call statement, it does not have any idea of what this sum is. What is this sum? What is this x and what is this y? So the sum is not defined. Why? Because the sum has been defined after the function call. So it arises a problem. The compiler could not identify what this sum is. In order to rectify that problem, what we can do is, we can make use of the function declaration concept, right? So what happens here is, whenever you are defining a function after the function call, since it is arising some problems with the compiler, you have to give some prior information to the compiler. You have to give some prior information to the compiler, saying that, oh compiler, there exists a function called sum which takes two inputs, a comma, which takes two inputs x comma y. So that prior information to the compiler should be given with the help of the function declaration. So how we are going to give the function declaration? The function declaration is nothing but the header part of the function. We have discussed earlier that a function definition consists of two parts, that means the header part, and the second one is the body of the function. So in the header part, we can see that we have the return type, name of the function, and the list of parameters. When you specify the header of the function well before the function call, this is function call statement, right? When you specify the header of the function well before the function call statement, then the compiler will not arise any problems. So specifying the function declaration is a straightforward thing. You have to specify the header, right? So for example, for this function, I can specify the header as sum int a comma int b. And remember that the declaration is always ended with a semicolon. Very, very important. The function declaration always ends with a semicolon. So the function declaration is nothing but writing the header of the function and ending it with a statement terminator. Let us take another example. Let me assume that I have a function like this, int a comma int b comma float f, and I have some statements. This is the function definition I have, sum 1, let us assume like. Now if I want to specify the function declaration, I just need to take the header of that function. So the function declaration becomes name of the function. If it has return type, we have to specify the return type also, right? Sum 1 comma, how many parameters are there? 3 parameters. And what are they? Int a, int b, and float f. So you can write like this, int a, int b, and float f. And remember that you always have to end it with a semicolon. This is the function header or the function declaration of this function. Let me take one more example. Let me take difference 2, and let me take the float a comma int b comma float c. This is my function that I have defined here. If I want to declare this function, as I told that it should include the header part, this one you have to take it. Therefore it should include the name of the function, it should include the parameters in the same order. The order of parameters plays very, very important role. So you should not forget it. And at the end you have to end it with a semicolon. So this is the function declaration for this function. This is the function declaration for this function. This is the function declaration for this function. So once we are clear about how we can write this or how we can declare the functions, now it is time to learn where we can declare the function, right? So the function declaration should always happen at the global declaration part. We know that the structure of C program starts with preprocessor directives, this one, and after this we have the global declaration section. Here I have it, right? This is global declaration section, and from here you can write the functions, any number of functions you can write. So the placement of function declaration should happen at the global declaration side or at this part, right? So if I want to make the compiler know about this function sum before the function call, I have to declare this function in the global declaration section. Let me write here. So I have to write it as sum int a comma int b. And you have to end it with semicolon. This becomes the function declaration. Let us see what happens when we give the function declaration, right? As we know that whenever you press this control F9, all this compiler what will do is it will start executing from the first statement and it will search for the main function. That's a different case. So first it will execute this one. This is a pre-processed directory, therefore before compilation itself it will do, pre-processing itself it will do, and after this pre-processed directory, you can see here that there is a global declaration here. At this particular point, the compiler will come to know that, oh, there exists a function called sum with two parameters, that is int a and int b. So it will have some idea of this function. It will have the idea of what is the name of the function, what is the return type of the function, how many parameters it is accepting, what type of parameters it is accepting, what is the order of parameters it is accepting. All this information will be present at the compiler. So with this information at the compiler, when it starts executing the main function, at this point it is okay, at this point it is okay, and when it comes to the function call statement, you can see here that sum of xy is the function call statement. But at this function call statement, does the compiler have any idea about this sum? Yes, it is having. So the function declaration has already given some idea of what the name of the function, what is the return type of the function, what is the order of function, how many parameters it is accepting. All these information is present at the compiler. Therefore, it will not arise this problem. So it cannot say that I don't know anything about sum. Why? Because I have given every information related to the sum at the time of function declaration. So to avoid such problems, we are making use of function declaration. So if somebody asks you what is function declaration, it is nothing but you are going to give the information related to the function before the function call. Before the function call, when you make your compiler to know everything about the function, what is the return type, name of the function, how many parameters, how many order of parameters. If you are making the compiler learn about every metric or every parameter of the function, that information can be given to the compiler by making use of function declaration. So the function declaration is used to give the additional information or to give the information related to the functions to the compiler well in advance of the function call. So that is the importance of this function call, right? So if somebody, there may be a doubt here, right? Sir, the function call statement is at this particular point and the function definition I am giving after the function call statement. At that particular point, I am getting some problem that the compiler does not know anything about the sum. So to avoid that problem, I have given the sum, the function declaration at the global declaration part. That solves my problem. Very good. But what happens if I give the function definition before the function call itself? Do we need to have the function declaration? This is the question that is arised by some of the students, right? So if I have the function definition before the function call, is there any need for the function declaration? So let us discuss that one also, and we will end that topic here, right? Let me rewrite the code. Hash include Perhaps it is a very good question which was raised by some of the students, and this is very important point that the student should learn. So the same program I am rewriting it. You save the program with sum.c and you press the control F9 here. Control plus F9. Once the compiler starts its execution, it will come from this line, okay, and then it will come here, and at this point you can see here the second line is the definition of the function from here to here. From the second line onwards, the compiler will come to know that, oh, there exists a function called sum which accepts two parameters, int and int. So at this particular point itself, the compiler will have some information related to that function. The name of the function, the return type of the function, the parameters, the number of parameters, the order of parameters, every information is present at the compiler. Right. Once the execution is started at main, this is completed, and at this point this is called as function call. We know that, right? At this particular point, the compiler will not raise any problem. Why? Because at the second line itself, the compiler has got lot of information related to this function, so it will execute perfectly. So the point you have to understand here is two statements: function call statement, second one is function definition. When we have the function definition after the function call statement, as that of the previous example, we need to have the function declaration is mandatory. But if you take the reverse case, that we have the function definition before the function call, in such scenario the function declaration is not required. This is not required. These are the two important scenarios you should understand, very important. Let me quick recap, give a quick recap of what we have discussed, right? What is this function declaration? Function declaration is nothing but you are giving some information to the compiler regarding the functions. What type of information you are giving? The return type of the function, the name of the function, the number of parameters of the function, the order of parameters of the function. Every information you are giving it to the compiler, that is called as function declaration. So how do you declare a function? Means the function declaration should be declared in the global section after the preprocessor directives. And how you are going to give is, a function declaration is nothing but the header of the function along with the semicolon. Very simple thing, right? And there are two scenarios whether we require the function declaration or not. The first case is this one, where the function definition has been given after the function call statement. In such cases, the function declaration is mandatory. But the second case is the function definition is given before the function call statement. In such case, the function declaration is not mandatory. Why? Because the function definition is already processed by the compiler and all the information related to the function is already present at the compiler. Therefore, nothing to do with the extra information. So there is nothing to do with the function declaration. So that's all about the function declaration. So in today's session, we have discussed what is this function declaration, and before that we have seen what a function call is. how we are going to invoke a function, how we are going to call a function, how the parameters are going to pass. Don't worry, there is another concept called as parameter passing mechanisms, which is a very important concept in the C programming language, which we will be discussing in the next coming sessions with good examples also, right? So after discussing the function call, calling function, called function, invoking, we have come to the concept of function declaration. What actually is function declaration? That means you are declaring the function. You don't assume that we are going to give the allocation, right? Memory allocation. Function declaration is you are giving the compiler some extra amount of information related to the functions, and this information will help you to avoid some problems during the execution of the function when the function is defined after the function call statement. Always remember important point that the function declaration is mandatory whenever you declare the function whenever you define the function after the function call statement, and the function declaration is not necessary when you define the function before the function call, this case. So that's all about the function declaration and function calling. That's all for today's session. Thank you one and all for joining. In the next coming session, we will discuss some more important points related to the functions. Thank you all.